daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Your body is unique. And Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bioniq. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Liverpool podcast brought to you by the Global Sports Podcast Network. The Merseyside Derby has just ended and it's the red half of the city that's celebrating because Liverpool have just beaten Everton 2-1. Goals from Ryan Gravenberg and Hugo Eketike put the Reds 2 up before a second half Idris Gueye goal pulled one back for the visitors, made for a bit of an uncomfortable, last 10 to 15 minutes at the end of that game. Joined by Carl Kopak. Carl, another win, another Derby win. David Moyes' Anfield misery continues.
Yeah, is it 21 now he's done, which is quite impressive. And it doesn't look like getting any closer. I mean, the best, for much of the frankly weird commentary I've just had to sit through here. As good as Everton were in the second half, there's no way they were going to win the game. You know, a draw would have been a win for them. And so Moyes can't really say like he was any closer than he actually was. Because, 2-0, quite comfortable. I think their goal's a good goal. I think Everton played very well in the second half. I think we're a bit off it, if I'm honest. But you know what you're going to get from them, and we got it. So I think that's just one of those things, really. There's lots of Liverpool are panicking again. I don't think we were panicking as such. I think a 2-2 would have been a bit flattering, to be honest. But Everton, they're very good at what they do. Well, they're very, very huff and puff. So you never really know what you're going to get. But it's a hard game, that the Derby, regardless of forms. Everyone always famously says. And, form goes out the window. And it's just another thing Liverpool have got through. And it's another test. It's another different type of game. We had the low block last week, and this one was a blood and thunder game, as was the Newcastle game. But, no disrespect to Everton, but Newcastle are a very different proposition in terms of skill. And we just got through it. We won the game and then we held on. And, that's not for everyone. But in derbies, you have to do that sometimes. It's one of those things. Yeah,
I agree with you in the sense that I think the media is kind of building this narrative because they've got to have something to talk about, right? Liverpool have played 5, won 5. There's got to be some narrative, and to an extent, it's kind of inevitable in the sense that most of our games, we've got kind of last minute winners. But this idea that we keep kind of almost throwing games away. I saw that game and I thought, this is a comfortable 2-0 lead. And then you do have that inevitable, any team is going to have a 10-minute spell, 10, 15-minute spell. They're going to,
and it's a good goal. That's no one's fault. That's just a very, very good goal. It's a lovely pass to Gueye.
Yeah. Grealish, I thought Grealish played well. I don't think he played as well as some of the commentators were saying. I do think that
he could.
Yeah, I just think it's almost a case of like Grealish touched the ball, so let's kind of wax lyrical about that. He had a decent game. He had a few good touches. He dived around a lot, which he's been taught well at Man City. But I just thought he had a good game. He wasn't like anything special. But
also, and this hasn't been mentioned, so did Connor.
I
thought he played him really well.
Yeah, I thought he played. I thought he had an excellent game. And on Grealish, to be fair, I think I said this last week in the podcast as well. I think Pep Guardiola ruined Jack Grealish. I thought he was a really good player at Aston Villa, and you saw some of that now at Everton, where he's trying to go past players. He's trying to drive into the box as opposed to all these kind of sideways passes that he was kind of drilled into doing at Man City. But as you said, I thought Conor Bradley was absolutely fantastic. And that's such an interesting, for me, that's an interesting narrative. The fact that we've got real competition in so many parts of the team now. Whereas, we've been used to, Trent being, right, he's the number one, and then Conor Bradley comes in when Trent's injured but now it's a real shootout between Conor Bradley, Frimpong, and now even Szoboszlai. So, there is this element where you've got a lot of players on the pitch, and I think this is elevating this team, and I think it will elevate the team further in the sense that we've got genuine competition now in a lot of areas of the pitch.
Yeah, and it makes a difference because obviously we've got a free hit on Tuesday with Southampton. Is it Tuesday? I think it is.
Yeah, Tuesday.
And so he can throw in whoever he wants on that game as well. So they get another rest before Palace, and Conor Bradley will know he's been in a game, tonight. So he's going to be feeling that. I know we're only 5 games and a European Cup game into the season, but he is going to have to start thinking about resting people soon. Which is what he did today. I thought when he did, he didn't start with Wirtz, but it's a squad now, and it's a squad game, and you saw that today with Curtis coming on for McAllister, just as McAllister started to tire, and we've got some real. So I don't think that actually did us any particularly good because we kept loose in the midfield. The midfield was very, very haphazard in the second half, but we've got a squad now to sort of deal with that. But I thought Everton tired a bit, and that's where they all got very crotchety at the end. Did you see what their problem was at the end? Because not everybody knew why they were. Grealish got booked after the final whistle, and Moyes was going mad at the referee. He got booked because he was complaining about Dewsbury Hall being booked for taking a
quick free kick.
Which, to be honest, he's got a point. You can't get booked for that, but I think you can though. I'm not. I think
that he'd done it a few times. That was the issue. I'm
not saying I'm for that rule,
time.
But I think sometimes you just think I'm going to try a quick one here, and the referee says, "No, come on! I keep telling you, stop doing that." Yeah. And also because they only got 3 minutes injury time, which I thought was going to be 5. Yeah, but I also thought that there's going to be a narrative about it's all Liverpool were hanging on there at the end, and yes, we did call a flag at the end because that's what you do, but. I thought we were all right, to be honest. I thought because and this is the most important thing because we've got the minerals to play those sort of games when we want to now. We can hang people off. And what you were saying before about the narrative is also about Liverpool scoring like last minute goals and things like that. I'm not having that for Atletico Madrid. I'm just not. Honestly, the goal's offside, the first one, and they get in because of that, and they get it's a good goal, but it's a deflection. We didn't throw that away. The first goal wasn't a goal, but we had to react to it because he gave it.
How that goal was not disallowed, I will never know.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's literally they're
going to throw away another 2-goal lead. Yeah, we did against Bournemouth because we got things wrong against Bournemouth. We did against Newcastle because the goalkeeper ended up being a third centre-back, which is what Slot said. The goalkeeper's taking a free kick, so therefore it's still 10. There's 10 outfield players.
Yeah.
But we didn't do that today. We got it over the line. And yes, they scored, but it's a derby. And, they could be in the 3rd division and we'd still have to fight games like that. But we were brilliant. So the first half, we won the game in the first half and we were brilliant in the first half. And that's the most, I'd rather have it that way. I'd rather win the game and then hang on to it rather than, just sort of go all the way to the 0-0 to the 97th minute or something.
Yeah, we've seen that too often. You mentioned the squad part of it. I saw an interview with Arne Slot that he had with Ali McCoist on TNT. I don't know if you saw it before the game. Yeah, he said pretty much the same thing, didn't he? He spoke about having to play pretty much the same team for that kind of early part of the season. And whilst it helped in that period to kind of bed the team in, they got a rhythm. There was a consistency in team selection. He did say that kind of strength then became a weakness in the second half of the season because you see that kind of dip in terms of the physical fitness of the team. But I suppose his challenge now is to get the team to perform consistently whilst changing the personnel a lot more. And that personnel, many of them are players, or a few of them are players that, they've come in from new leagues like Hugo Eketike and Florian Wirtz. But I've got to say, Eketike is just, I just think that he's a
I think
real
he's
player.
perfect.
He's absolutely fantastic, and he's finishing. He's just. I don't like this. I don't like to kind of keep dragging because I keep seeing people drag Nunes into this. I don't feel comfortable doing that. But I just like to just say on his own terms, Eketike, he's so composed, not just in front of goal, but I remember when we were away at Newcastle and he's getting shoved around by Joe Linton and
Yeah,
all of them. But he's just not reacting. He just scores. He just scores the goals.
yeah, and it's not just the goal; it's how he comes deep so often as well. And I've just said on Blue Sky that there should be a documentary about his first touch for that goal, which is just kills it scores, because he could just sweep that if he wants to, or he could take a big clumsy touch and pull his foot back. But no, it's just 1-2. That's it. That's all I need to do this. And I think he's a complete centre forward. I really do. And I think everyone's been saying that we are less when he goes off, but he's got to go off because we've got to get the other lad fit for obvious reasons. And I thought it was quiet today, understandably, because he's done an hour in the week, and now do you want to come on and play a derby? I did wonder actually if you might put Eketike on for Gakpo, who I thought was quite quiet in the first half. But I think Hugo Eketike is. I get the Nunez thing because but he's just a different player, and he's the player I prefer to have because he just does everything. He's absolutely fearless as well. He's happy to run in with three lads in the middle of it and somehow come out with the ball. And he loves a 40-60 challenge when he's got Mo running outside him. If I win that, you're in, and I'll win it for you. And I think he's a wonderful player. And if we didn't get Isak, I'd be still happy.
Yeah, I think all of us would have been happy with just having Eketike because I genuinely think that he's more than good enough to lead that line for Liverpool.
Yeah, and he doesn't snatch at things, as you say. His composure is incredible.
His composure is great.
Goal.
But we've got to talk about that. We're talking about beautiful goals. Ryan Gravenberg goal. It's just absolutely. Because as they quite rightly mentioned on the commentary, he's made it look a lot easier than that is, because he's got to go along with them. I tell you that goal it reminds me of. Not exactly.
I wonder if you're going to say the same thing. I was going to say something too. I wonder if they're going to talk about the same goal.
Danny Murphy, Old Trafford,
Gerrard over the top.
Steven Gerrard. I mean, he pinged it into Murphy. And I would say, I'm going to say that goal is actually technically a better goal. And I'll tell you why. Because he was a lot closer to the goal. And for him to kind of use the momentum of the ball and to almost kind of kill it as well, Murphy, and just loop it over the keeper, otherwise a fantastic goal. But this was a similar kind of goal, but it was higher. The ball had bounced higher. But again, the way Gravenberg just kind of caresses it.
Because what he's got to do there is he can't overhit it. Yeah. Because everyone's actually there to just batter it as hard as you can. Yeah. He's got to keep the pace exactly how it is almost. He can't take a bit off it. He can't put too much on it. He's just got to keep the pace of the through ball from Mo. And to say he's supposedly a number 6 who's finishing like that's an astonishing finish in a Merseyside derby at home. It's just incredible, and
he comes up with the assist for Eketike as well.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He's an astonishing player. He's just been. Do you remember when at the early years of Mo Salah, when you talk about who's man of the match, and you've got to take Mo out of it because it's him every week, and then just so you can name someone else. I was just thinking that McCoy's just said, tried all he could to give it to Jack Grealish, and he said, "But I've got to give it to Gravenberg for the goal and the performance like that." I thought, well, I totally agree with that. I mean, you've got to give him the man of match, and then, but I was thinking, who's been good? Who's the second best Liverpool player here today? Connor Bradley. I thought Konate did well today, actually, as well.
Konate was good. Konate was
to say he was up against. They replaced Yard Dog with Yard Dog, as they always do. Mm-hmm. We're going to bring in a brand new Grok for you to fight. Okay. I know he did really well as well, and the keeper did well. But yeah, Ryan Gravenberg, I think he's just been. I think he's on a slot's bigger success. I really do. That I think
Absolute
nothing comes close.
masterstroke. Yeah, absolute masterstroke. Apart from saving us kind of 70 or 80 million pounds, it's not just that. I hear that a lot, that that move saved us 70 or 80 million pounds. And really, I mean, I don't care about 70 or 80 million pounds.
It's not our money.
It's just the fact that Slot, as a manager, as a coach, saw something in this central attacking midfield player and thought, yeah, I can use you in a in a double pivot. I can use you in a holding midfield alongside someone else. So I just thought, yeah, an absolute masterstroke from Slot. But the way that teams are lining up against us, is this going to be the way? Is this going to be our season, particularly in the Premier League? Because you see how the games have panned out against Newcastle, against Burnley, even against Arsenal. You think, okay, these are going to be the title rivals, but they've all played us to varying degrees a pretty similar style. Okay, we've got Palace up next in the Premier League. As you said, we've got Southampton midweek or Tuesday night in the League Cup. Then we're away to Palace, which is never easy. Then it's Champions League again, away to Galatasaray. And then in the Premier League again, we've got Chelsea and then Manchester United. I think Chelsea could be the only one out of those games where they may actually try and play football. Whereas I think Manchester United will again just come to Anfield and pretty much maybe do what Everton did. But do you see that? Do you see that a pattern of, and maybe that's why it's become quite difficult for us to kind of negotiate a 2-0 lead? I don't know. Does that kind of make sense? Or
Yeah, because that's what I'd do. If I had to go to Liverpool, I'd do that. I'd yard dog it out as much as I could, and maybe try and get the goal and hold on. That, because I think that's the only way people are going to beat us this season, unless you're City, who can outplay if they want to. I think that's always going to happen. But it's an interesting league this year because there isn't one game and you think, well, that'll be a 3-0 win. That's fine. Ipswich at home last season. Everyone knew that game was nothing. Just give us the points and we'll get on with our days. That's fine. And there's less of that this season. It's interesting to see how people are setting up against us. And Everton sort of, they just went through the wide players tonight when normally they go big grok heavy down the middle. And they started off with a lot of long ball stuff, and then they realised that Grealish stuff actually quite works. And I thought O'Brien was good as well, who hardly anyone mentioned on the side. And I thought Garner had a good game. But, I don't know what they're doing with Beto. Wow.
I don't know what Beto is doing with himself, to be fair.
It looks like he's won a competition to play. I was absolutely made up when he went, they're going with him. That's great. Well, Virgil van Dijk's just, he's just unfolding a deck chair just before kickoff. Lovely. I'll just head these away all day, shall I? But I think Palace is going to be tricky. Because it's an awful ground to go to as well, as we've been there, and it's a tricky ground to go to. I think Chelsea will be the next big test.
Yeah,
because you never know what you're going to get with them. And today was different because literally because of the fixture it is the derby, it is a sort of right. Or even if it was the same with us with United in the 80s. Like, it doesn't matter that United were languishing in 12th place and we were 17 points good at the top of the league, which they still beat us because it's a different sort of thing. It's a different mentality. And I was really pleased with the way we handled that today, because there were times when we didn't. Do you remember that bit in the second half when it was like saying, it's gone a bit Keystone Cops in the middle and we just no one had win the ball. Yeah. I thought, he's got a good win, Dom. Oh no, you've just rolled it straight to there, lads. And and that was going on all the way through it. They're the hardest games to win when nothing's going right. You're not going to get everything your own way there. I was thinking, like, would it be nice now at 2-0 if we won 6-0? And then we just said to the rest of the league, that's us, by the way. That's what we can do. But we're not at that stage because some of our lads aren't fit. Florian Wirtz isn't fit. I'm not having Florian Wirtz as 100% fit. No chance. Yeah. He was slow to everything today. And obviously Isak was. I watched Isak try and close down a centre back at one point.
Yeah.
It's like he was using someone else's legs. No, I can't get over there because I ran an hour in the week full pelt against Atletico Madrid, who quite defensive. And I think it's going to be the fact that we've won 5 out of 5 with a side that isn't completely fit, and he still doesn't know what his opening lineup as well. It does Gakpo stay in your first 11 here? I think it does because Slot likes him, but is he going to? How can you drop Eketike? You've got to because there's Alexander Isak's on the bench, and he's like, he's in. He's the second best striker in the league.
Gakpo, I think, does such an important job.
He does,
supporting Kirkes, who I've got to say, I thought Kirkes had
outstanding today. Outstanding.
He probably had his best game for us so far. I mean, even I think at 90 minutes there was a header. There was a kind of looping cross was going back post, and all
You've
kind
got to be honoured to do what you did then.
got on the end of that, and I thought he had a good game. And like I said, I think that was his best game for us.
But I think that's his sort of game, isn't it? He wants someone to fight.
A bit more blood and thunder. I think even in the first 5 minutes, he kind of flew into a tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you're right. I actually I thought that Andy Robertson might start just because of his experience and the fact that...
Or he might come on just to get it over, get it done. I think it's going to be his role.
Kirkes has been getting these kind of, these kind of yellow cards, and maybe this isn't the game to get an early booking, in this kind of game. But I thought, look, overall, you've got to say, as you said, Liverpool 5 games, 5 wins. We've got the City game and Arsenal game tomorrow. It's like, look, we've done our job now. Okay, over to you lot to see whether you can just stay on our coattails. And here's an interesting one. I was listening to some guys on the radio. Was it? I can't remember whether it's TalkSport or 5 Live, but they were all saying, which I completely disagree with. They were saying, "Oh, surely Liverpool will want City to win, so that City are then on 10 points, which is 5 points behind us, and then Arsenal are 6 points behind us." And I'm like, no, I would much rather a draw, so that Arsenal are 5 points behind us.
The best, yeah.
And
we can't lose tomorrow.
And we are what 7 points ahead of City. So yeah, for me I'd much rather have that bigger gap to City and have a 5 point gap in Arsenal. And I think most
my views on Arsenal.
Yeah, same here. I think
Arsenal aren't going to come 20 foot behind to win the league. City can do that.
You can.
So I'd rather get City out of the way. It's a tricky one because it's not tricky. It's actually glorious because at the end of the day, Arsenal would either have lost 2 of the first 5 games, or City would have lost 3.
Yeah,
and or if it's a draw, then Liverpool have won. So Liverpool have won already. That feels well. It is a 6 point weekend, isn't it? That's exactly what this is. We're going to be major points ahead of one of those 2 tomorrow, and that's a nice thing. I'm actually looking forward to the game because I'm going to be watching that game as a game of football rather than me, with skin in the game. Whatever, fine. Arsenal win 7-0, fine. City are out, excellent.
Yeah,
City win it, excellent. Arsenal have lost 2 games.
What do you think about that game, though? What in terms of do you see City going there and getting a result? Is this beating them?
Yeah, I do because I think City are clever, and
they know how to win.
The longer that stays 0-0, the better it is for City, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Saliba's back for them, and because I know there was talk of him being rushed back last week because he was injured against us, wasn't he? I think that's going to make a difference. But I'm looking forward to it because it's a free hit. I'm just going to actually, for the first time in a while, just enjoy a game of football knowing Liverpool have won no matter what happens. That's going to feel nice because we've done our job, and that's and we've done our job in a shaky second half, and we got through it.
Absolutely, but I'm hoping that it's a draw because I don't want, if City go to Arsenal and they win that game, I think off the back of the Manchester derby, which obviously they're expected to win anyway, but it's a derby, I think that will give them a real kind of lift. And then I think all the kind of, all the sights will be on November the 9th, which is when we travelled to Man City. And that's 3 or 4 days after we've played Real Madrid in the Champions League, which happened last season as well. And so that would give City, it's that kind of carrot for them to kind of, go on a run to maybe close the gap on us if we have the
and
odd
I think
draw.
that's the difference. I think City can do that. I don't think Arsenal
capable
can.
of doing that. They're capable of doing that. And I don't think Arsenal
because they get in their own heads too much.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and Arteta, I don't see him as someone who's got what it takes to, to pull that team over the line. But it should be a good game, like you said, enjoyable for us that we can just sit back and have a nice cup of tea and watch that game without any kind of
because
stress.
Liverpool have already won it.
We've already won our game. What do you think now in terms of the next few games? We've got now. It's we're into that kind of 3. Every 2 or 3 days there's a game, and so that squad is going to come into play. But if you look at the next few fixtures now, we've got, as you've said, we've got Southampton on Tuesday, Palace in the Premier League on Saturday, Galatasaray on the Tuesday, that's away, and then Chelsea away, and then Manchester United at home. I mean, Galatasaray away is not easy. Chelsea and even Manchester United at home, you just never know what kind of team shows up. But I do think that we've got the bases now, in terms of we've got the guys who've got the experience. We've still got Van Dijk and Alisson and Robertson and Mo in the team. And now you've got these newer players who've come in. And I just think that the next few games, the next 4 or 5 games, we can really hit our straps, because these are big games. And I think if we get over those big games, I think it lays such a good foundation for the rest of the season.
The problem with that is you would have said the same thing 3 weeks ago, and you'll say the same thing in about 6 weeks' time. It's always like this. There's never we've got quite a quiet week this week. We're fine. No, it's always a run of games. Always.
Argument, Carl. That's my podcast argument's finished now for the next 6 weeks.
It's always like this. I think the Southampton game being there is a nice one, because he's going to go with me and you as centre half, Livy right midfield. Tom's up front on his own.
No. Tom's going to be in midfield with Curtis Jones.
Yeah.
No,
he's going to go Gomez, Leone.
Yeah,
Marv's in goal. So it's
Chiesa will still be on the bench, though, won't he? Chiesa will still be on the bench.
But I was thinking this, though. If that was me, I'm giving Isaac 90 minutes against Southampton.
Really?
Or at least 70. Because this is perfect. It doesn't matter. Go and enjoy yourself, son.
Because it is a Tuesday game, right? So it's a Tuesday game. So you've got that extra day to recover. And then the game on the next game, no, it's a Saturday game, right? The Palace game. Saturday at 3:00. Yeah, so it's a good shout. I think he could actually get minutes, maybe if not the whole game, but like you said, maybe 60, 70 minutes. And it's at home. So yeah, I think that's a good shout.
I think you say to him, go and play the game. If you've got to stretch off during a corner, you just run over to the side and have a stretch, mate. No one cares. No one gives a damn about this. But Rio will do the running anyway.
Rio will do the running.
Or you're playing 4-4-2 with Dan's. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do, mate. Just run around a bit and get a bit better. I'd also maybe put Wirtz in.
Do you think so?
Because he's not up to speed. I thought he was poor today. I really did.
Yeah. You can see he's still a yard off, isn't he?
But he was also in the right places all the time.
Yeah.
Always. So, if the brains are there, he's just like, Did you see the bit? There was a lovely little sort of still on the telly where I think he's at Michael Keane. He's marking Michael Keane at a corner. It's like, bloody hell.
What is all that about?
8 foot taller than him. Flo, he's yours. Yours, Flo. Right, okay. I played last night, and there's a lad that I play against called Trafford, and that was me and him last night, and he kept shouting over to his teammates, "It's okay, everyone, I've got Carl." I'm like, literally from under his elbow, I'm looking at him and think, I've got the header here, lads. And that was what that was like. I play Wirtz because I think Wirtz needs to get fitter, or get up to this league.
Yeah, no, I think there was a moment where I think he's kind of through on goal and he kind of cuts in onto his left foot.
Yeah.
And, someone who's really match fit, they just snap that shot. Whereas, he just takes an extra half second, and in the Premier League,
yeah, I said out loud too slow when he did.
Yeah,
that.
you just don't get that extra half second in the Premier League. But
Gakpo
we'll see.
Started like that too. Gakpo was like that when he started.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he was like that for I think the first half of the season when he joined us. And you're right. I mean, I remember now everyone was saying, "God, this guy is so slow." What
didn't close? Gakpo didn't close down either. I thought, you're not going to be popular there, mate.
Yeah, yeah. So you're right. I think it's going to take games, and maybe that Southampton game. I was thinking that it's going to be wholesale changes in terms of getting some of the kids in, but you know what? You could be right. I think the likes of Isaac, Wirtz, the guys that really need minutes to get themselves, up and running. Maybe that is, the ideal game. But we'll see what happens on Tuesday. That's all for today. You've been listening to the Daily Liverpool podcast, brought to you by the Global Sports Podcast Network. We'll be back on Monday. Louis Easton will be having a more of an in-depth and probably more of an intelligent look at this game than
how dare you?
than we've offered up.
I have just advocated him to play against Southampton, so maybe you've got a point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you've advocated me and you as centre back, so it's not really saying much, is it?
But be like Ibra and Virgil, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But for myself and Carl, thank you for listening, and we'll see you soon. Here at Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencastr came out the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs, it's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.